substitutions because the shutout pride factor. Feels like if he keeps fresh legs in there, he's going to give teams different looks.
Lindsey Brown working hard. So the throw-in goes Notre Dame's way, and you know who, number 11, Weisenhofer with the honors. Kula directing traffic.
So this ball will go close on the throw-in, and this ball will go close to the net.
Oh, absolutely. It'll be on target. Far post. Dangerous ball! Off the post! Again! Kula again off the post! Marquette trying to clear, a flurry of action, and Marquette avoids disaster. The hardware is Kula's best friend. And it all started with Weisenhofer's flip throw-in. The Irish relentless. Henderson cuts it back. Folks, battling, and we will go Marquette's way.
Folks was holding. That's a good call. Now Marquette getting some energy. Their bench is up. They're cheering, standing on the sideline. But I tell you, Natalie Kula and Marquette got away with a little bit of luck. Check out the throw-in, and now folks off the sidebar, the near post, and then another one off the far post, and Natalie Kula is just diving in and out of the net. Took her a little bit of time to get up. Notre Dame is so quick.
Kula doing half gainers as Folks and company put the heat on and then some. I think Folks couldn't believe that her open goal situation, open net situation wasn't true. Notre Dame still applying pressure. That's Brown. Dangerous ball. Henderson can't control.
That's going to be a goal kick. Henderson was hoping for a corner kick.
Wow, TB, that was something.
Well, chances, and chances. Question is, was it a corner?
Wow.
That's a tough call, but I'd say they made the right call. Stephanie Vassos was in play, marking Henderson.
Kula must feel like she's in the middle of a shooting gallery. Left side, right side.
They talk in soccer so much about creating chances, but at the other end of creating chances is being able to finish those chances, and that would have been a great get for Notre Dame to, with time running out, 3 minutes left in this first half, to go up with a one-goal lead, 2-1. But a little unlucky, if you will, for the Irish.
Oh, I will. They were unlucky. Those were right on the button, if not for the posts. McBride. But there's Notre Dame's defense. Weisenhofer, so tough on the ball, able to turn the corner. Kula thought for a second, then backed up, then came out, then retreated, and finally got a foot on it. She saw Henderson coming and thought, boy, I better do something here. I'm committing.
I thought Weisenhofer did a good job of reading that Henderson was making a run.
That direct soccer that you're talking about, right?
I mean, it was so unassuming, too. Weisenhofer just put the ball. You thought she was going to try to maybe turn and dribble a little bit. Instead, she shoots a rocket about 35 yards to a chasing Henderson, who makes a good run and scares an ambitious Natalie Kula, who decided to come way out of the box.
Little hesitant at first, and it almost cost her as Miller and Lorenzi check in for Marquette for the closing $140 of this really entertaining first half.
You know, it's interesting because Marcus told us on the field before the game, he said, the winner of this game is going to have to score at least 2 goals. Maybe the winner's going to win in overtime. So he realizes what he's facing today. He's not assuming that it's going to be 90 minutes and done. They could go 100. They could go 110. They could go to PKs if they need to. There's no ties in championship soccer.
Ball slips. One minute left to go in this opening first half.
Yeah, Lauren Folks was a little gimpy for a minute, and the official put his whistle in his mouth, and he's going to call stoppage of the clock. He wants to check on folks. She's okay. And a nice sportsman-like gesture between Rosie Malone-Pavolny of Marquette and Lauren to make sure that each other are okay.
Centering pass. Away, says Notre Dame. Equal to the task. Marquette looking for some magic to end this half. Great clear, I'll say. You mentioned that PK situation that you never know if that's going to happen. There have been a couple of Big East championship games that have been decided in that fashion. West Virginia taking it to Notre Dame in that PK situation just a couple of years ago. Villanova, they won in 2003 in PKs over Boston College. But we got a long way to go before we see that. And this will effectively end a very entertaining first half. Notre Dame scores first. The Irish, ranked number 4 in the country, taking a 1-0 lead, finally penetrating the great Natalie Kula, but Rachel Sloan is able to answer. After Folk scores, Sloan answers. And that's where we stand, tied at 1 apiece at halftime. The 2009 Big East Women's Soccer Championships. It has been a heck of a match so far. You gotta tip your hat to Marquette as they saw the Irish take that early lead, and back they came.
Offensive Player of the Year, Lauren Oakes, Notre Dame. And Offensive Player of the Year.
We're waiting for Marquette Golden Eagles head coach Marcus Roders to get all mic'd up. And coach, that's a heck of a job by you guys to take that. An absolutely epic match as the Irish got on the board first. But Marquette was able to counter with the equalizer, and then late in that first half, Notre Dame had 2 shots off the posts. One on the right side, one on the left side. Kula exposed in that net. But the Irish were not able to find the back of the net, so we still stand at 1 apiece. We know that the winner of this championship match gets an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. We also are pretty confident that both of these clubs are going to go regardless of what happens, as the Big East Conference has just been so deep this year. So many of the clubs in this conference scheduling up, and they will be rewarded. We're hoping, we're anticipating, when the bids go out. There's that loose Marquette bunch. They love to have the pregame dance, and obviously they've extended that into halftime.
They should be loose. They should be feeling good. But Randy Waldrum joins us now from Notre Dame, and Notre Dame's got to be feeling awfully good. Randy, what'd you tell your team at the half?
Well, we just talked a little bit about our organization defensively a little bit. I felt like at times so many of our midfield players got forward that the second ball bypassed the midfield, and they're very dangerous on the counter. So we trying to shore that up a little bit. But, you know, I told you yesterday, great game. We got 2 good teams, and certainly Marquette's a very worthy opponent, and it's a great representation for the Big East.
You guys really applied the pressure early to get on that scoreboard, and then they came back and just a flurry of shots by you guys, a little unlucky. Will we see a little bit more of that in the second half?
Yeah, we'll keep going at it. I think both teams want to win. I don't think either team's going to sit back and be conservative at this point, so that's what I'd expect.
Randy, thank you so much for joining us. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate that. And Randy Waldrum will be trying to direct his Irish club to yet another Big East championship. We know that Notre Dame has won a bunch of them, and they're going for number 11. Marquette, of course, going with the chance of winning their first ever Big East soccer championship.
I bet you Marquette talked in the locker room about that dream season that they've been feeling all season long, and Marcus talked to us about that the last couple days, and it's a good time at the half to revisit that and to be able to think about what you might accomplish if you can hunker down, focus for the next 45 minutes against what is a great Notre Dame team, but all it takes is 1 goal in the second half and a whole lot of defense.
Well, Notre Dame opened the game with the first goal of the game, and we thought, well, let's see if Marquette is able to respond and rally. Will they be back on their collective heels? But no, the Golden Eagles showing great grit in coming back to catch the Irish. And as you said, Tammy, when that ball found the back of the net off of the boot of Sloan, brand new ball game. And that's where we stand at 1 apiece early, seconds into the second half. of the Women's Big East Championship here in Storrs, Connecticut.
And I think what it does, too, is when Marquette can come back in the first half and score the equalizer, it lets Notre Dame know, it sends a message to the Irish that this is a team in Marquette that they're here to win. They're here to take care of business. Yeah, they know they're going to the NCAA tournament, but they want to win a Big East tournament championship.
First few minutes of this second half will be important to establish some momentum, some rhythm. We saw Notre Dame really put the heat on Marquette keeper Natalie Kula, stretching Kula to her left and right as shots within seconds of each other hit both posts, but stayed out of the back of the net.
I like what Marcus told us when he visited with us before he went into the locker room at the half, and he said, yeah, we want to play quicker and we can't take our time because Notre Dame is too quick, but we don't want to rush. And there is a big difference between playing quick and rushing. When you tend to rush, that's where your mistakes are going to happen, and that's where you're going to get caught in that counterattack that Marcus talked about. So I like that analysis, and it's certainly smart.
Marquette with the deep ball. Settled nicely. Notre Dame, as Weisenhofer gets the starting nod in this second half, is going to leave it for her back line to start the counter. Weisenhofer, left flank. That's Campbell, and she'll send it deep in the box. Henderson trying to get a body on it, turns, but Marquette's defense clears. Tammy, if I'm not mistaken, my eyesight's so lousy, I do not see Augustine out there.
No, she is not on the pitch.
We know that she was banged up, and they had to stop the clock, actually, while the Notre Dame trainers took a look at Augustine, who was very slow in getting up and needed help to the sidelines. We have no idea what the injury is. Oh, boy. What a cutback by Henderson, and she was undercut.
Okay, one of the
Here we go.
One of the keys to the game for Marquette is to take care or defend set pieces. They have to be very smart. Now watch, Notre Dame might try to take something quick if they see that Marquette is not set in their defensive position. Folks and Barg are talking about who's going to take the kick right now.
And keep in mind that both Notre Dame goals against St. John's in the semifinals both came from set pieces. Let's see if the Irish can do some damage here.
Now Augustine would normally be taking,
yes,
likely normally be taking this kick.
Barg straight on. Boy, scooted right past that wall and right to the feet of Kula, who had to go down and get it.
And what was happening is Barg takes the kick in hopes that folks on the left-hand side of your screen would get a rebound and the follow-up. But Kula has such great hands and such sticky hands that there's no rebound on that save.
The anticipation of Kula was really impressive there, as that ball just snuck barely in from behind that wall, and she had to react cat quick at the last second to get her gloves on it and hold it tight.
A little science in soccer as well. I mean, Kula knows which way a ball is going to be spinning. If it's a right-footed kicker, then that ball is going to be spinning towards the right, and that velocity will carry it a certain way. It would be to Kula's right, which is why Kula initially moved towards the right. If it's a left-footed, it would just be the opposite.
Dangerous defending at the very last second is Haley Ford, who also gets the nod. Remember, she, along with Weisenhofer, missing a bunch of games because of injuries, but Ford starts and is able to snuff out any kind of chance for Becky Ryan.
A corner kick for Marquette. Notre Dame doesn't have any. Marquette, this would be their fourth of this match.
Weiss, she's got a high sky, I should say, with the bright sun in her eyes. Runner deep, the header! Oh! Boy, with huge action is the 5'10" Carrie McBride, and she was almost able to find the back of the net.
Well, that's her job. Her job is to make a run in the mix on the late end of a corner kick. And as Foot took that shot, McBride tried to time it, and she's got to try to find where that ball's going to end up on the back end, and she does. And I'll tell you what, if she jumps about 1.5 inches higher and she gets a different angle, the ball goes down. It doesn't go up because she shorted her jump a little bit. That ball went up instead of down.
Boy, you're right. Out of the mix came McBride. Thun put it right where she needed to on that far post, and Weiss would not have had a chance.
And it's good protection because let's say that Thut takes that corner kick and she shorts it. Well, then you've got other players who are standing in the middle ready for the play or the scramble, as sometimes we call it, in front of the net. But it is McBride's job at 5'10" to use her height to find that backhand and anticipate where the ball's going to go. And I think you got to credit Thut for putting a perfectly placed corner kick right on her head.
Schuweiler out, Hall in. Hall was a late substitute for Waldrum in that first half. She with the faulty quad that has kept her out of a bunch of action. So Waldrum able to get some minutes from some of his fallen veterans and freshmen. Men's Big East soccer. USF leading Notre Dame 1-0. We're in the quarterfinals of the men's tournament. That is a first half score. Here comes Weisenhofer, ready to do her thing. The flip throw in as good as any free kick in so many ways. Kula hustling. It's just a sigh of relief when Notre Dame isn't able to get something on frame off that flip throw in.
Weisenhofer has had about 3 flip throw-ins. 2 of them have been really remarkable. Actually, I think she's had about 4. 2 have been fantastic. One of them was a little short, didn't quite get to where she wanted it to go, but you can see when she grabs the ball and she sets herself up to take the flip throw, she knows exactly where she wants to put it, and her teammates do as well, and that way they can get set off their, what is not a set piece is a simple throw-in, actually turns into a set piece.
Physical match, Marquette pushing, that's Ryan with the quicks. Sloan's got a goal already, that one on frame, but Weiss is able to gobble it up. And a quick programming note, some of you will have the pleasure of watching the Conference USA Women's Championships right after this match, and it should be something else. UCF, which has had such a great season, will try and deny Memphis a chance to three-peat. UCF, Memphis in the Women's Conference USA Championships after this match.
Monaghan and Amanda Cromwell, the coaches who will be leading their teams in Conference USA Championship soccer, have done a fantastic job this season. I think UCF's season has been one that's been nothing less than remarkable. And Memphis always right there in the mix.
Deep throwing, perfect job by Kula. Remember, Rotors had said, just punch it away, Nat. You don't have to try and get everything, just punch it away. She anticipated well there.
Well, here's the conversation that Rotors had with Kula in regards to a Weisenhofer throw-in in the offensive zone. Because Kula said, well, I want to come off, and I want to try to win this ball, okay? And Rotors said, don't try to win it if you come off. You must win it if you come off. So you need to make a decision whether you're going to try or whether you are. And so she said, okay, then I will win the ball. How are you going to do that? You're going to punch it away. You're not going to grab it. You're going to just punch it away. So once they had the conversation, Kula knew exactly what she needed to do.
Campbell's able to safely knock that out, but Marquette will have the throw-in as, you know, Becky Sloan, or Rachel Sloan, excuse me, is going to be involved in darn near anything close. There's Weiss. Some 35 minutes and change left to go in the second half, the pivotal second half of the 2009 Women's Big East Soccer Championships here in Storrs, Connecticut. Webking is going to leave it. Bodies flying. We've had a very physical match. Both teams really going all out, and both back lines have just been very physical. Weisenhofer to space, but instead it's Miller. Compte dancing, set it up again with Katie Miller. Notre Dame trying to force the issue on everything.
Oh, a bad pass by McBride. Jasmine Hall is able to jump in that passing lane.
Unlucky there, but yeah, you're right. Marquette throwing, but Notre Dame's doing a great job at keeping the ball in their offensive third. Weisenhofer settles. Marquette.
Good switch fields. Nice idea. Wet King's got quicks. Good idea to bring it back to the middle, but again, another bad pass as Wet King. She had room on the left-hand side. She had plenty of green in front of her to make a charge up the left flank and see if anything would develop. You know that Marquette was looking to switch the field of play, and here it looks like Miller or McBride will actually, that's McBride, will try to switch the field of play, but Marquette playing back and forth right now, making Notre Dame cover a lot of territory, making Notre Dame chase a bit.
Ryan with some room to move. Wanted to find Sloan over the top. Instead, it's Malone Pavonley. Notre Dame will go to its bench again. Schubiler is ready to check in when she gets the nod. Here comes Jess. Weisenhofer will take a seat. Weisenhofer getting more minutes than she's gotten in a long, long time.
And the funny thing is she comes off and she's frustrated. You know, she wants to be out on the field. You can just take a look at her body language as I just did. She ran right in front of us. She's so disappointed that she didn't get a chance to have a few more chances.
Remember when Augustine had gone out in that first half, and you had mentioned because of the first half rules that she was not going to be able to sub back in even if she was healthy. Now the second half, of course, gives us different rules.
Well, and you know, I don't still have an update on Augustine on what the official diagnosis is. I don't know that they even have one. I know that they're working on her shoulder. And her arm is in a sling. And so if your arm's in a sling, I'm pretty certain that you're probably not checking back in to this match.
But if you do go out in that second half, you can come back in.
But here's the thing. You've got other substitutions as you look at Augustine in a sling. You've got other substitutions happening right now for Notre Dame that suggest to me that she's likely not coming in the second half for the rest of this match.
Rosie, step Rose!
And if that is the case, and I hear you, partner, that is a big blow for Notre Dame as she sets the table as well as anybody in this conference.
Another coaching challenge in terms of an injured player that Randy Eldrum has to deal with and think about. You know, we don't know what the diagnosis is, and certainly when they get back to South Bend and they can regroup for the NCAA tournament, he'll have to make some decisions on whatever the diagnosis is going to be. Can we play her? And we're going to take you back to see that injury to Augustine. You see that Augustine goes up in the air with Michelle Compte, and they battled it, and it's some sort of a shoulder injury.
Mack leads it. That's dangerous. Folks had a notion to try and maybe find Mack with a little one touch, but things got bottled up for the Irish, but they still maintain control. Bard, what a great ball, and now at the last second, Pope checked away. Pope checked away.
Victor going up against Courtney Bogg, who's got such great feet, fancy footwork.
Let's go, Marquette, who do you have?
And you hear Kula in the background. That's Kula talking. She says, all right, defense, let's shore it up. Who do you have? Show me who you have. Tell me who you have. Point to your players. Show me matchup, communication. Boy, does this take me back to my basketball days in college hoops. My coach, Beth Burns, in a free throw situation. Tammy, tell me, who do you have?
Deep ball, and off the mark.
That's a sign of a good leader. A Natalie Kula in the net on a set piece, a corner kick, the first for Notre Dame. Am I correct on that? That's the first one?
I know they didn't have any at half. So first or second.
Good leader, making sure that her teammates are calling out matchups.
Well, she organizes things so well from that back line, and you know, the numbers speak for themselves.
Yeah, ranked in the top 10 among NCAA
Lord have
leaders,
mercy.
Natalie Kula. Not even a half a goal.
She had gone some 750 minutes without letting in a goal before folks ended that reign of supremacy between the pipes. I mean, that's how good she's been, recording 15 shutouts this year. And had a stretch. She, of course, blanked West Virginia in the semifinals. That string broken against Notre Dame, but she'll take the tie. Flick header off the mark. Folks and Clark trying to team up. Folks with that long frame and so very dangerous. She has been red hot in this conference tournament. Seems like every time you turn around, they're hugging her for another goal. She's got 10 of them all together. Leading this Irish club. Hall will try and settle. Compton leaves it for Victor, and they'll work the right side. Will Marquette. But will try and send it deep into the box. Remember, that big hop gave Weiss all kinds of trouble that led to the equalizer for Marquette in that first half.
McBride and company trying to keep the ball in their half of the field and trying to work it from the middle half to the offensive third. But Jasmine Hall with the speed. Look at the speed. Chases it down, takes the ball away.
That took her on, though, didn't she?
I think, you know, Marquette doing a good job of holding that back line right now, not letting Notre Dame getting it back into their half of the field. This is what Marcus wants to see. He knows how good his defensive backs are, but can they keep it in the field of play that favors them to work it into the box for a shot opportunity? They've got to create chances.
Wow. Folks tried to slot it through to Henderson, and at the very last second, Kula realized, I better get off of my line because Henderson has got the speed.
Henderson does such a great job of beating her defenders on the far side. She comes in at a pretty nice angle, and Allison McBride lost her matchup for just a bit and got a little frustrated, and Natalie Kula again with great anticipation. That's the key here, anticipation by Kula to realize what kind of situation her defenders are in. And if you can anticipate your defenders and you know that a forward like Henderson who has speed, you're going to make a decision. I'm going to stay back. Nope, I'm going to go forward. I've got a better chance of getting that shot.
How about McBride here? And folks, get off me. Call went against the Irish player, so it'll be a free kick for Marquette. You saw that last chance for Henderson, though, just how clever she is and what a handful she is when she is on the march and on the fly, cutting nicely to avoid any kind of angle the defender could have on her and leaving Kula a little bit exposed.
Well, one of the things I like about Melissa Henderson of Notre Dame, after we watch Marquette make a run here, oh, it's getting chippy. That'll be Notre Dame's ball. But let me finish that thought. Melissa Henderson plays generally on the right or the left-hand side. She finds herself in the center forward position occasionally, but that's really Folks' area. Melissa Henderson plays outward in. She comes in at angles. She runs the depth to the corner. And from that outward inward motion, she creates a lot of havoc and a lot of matchup problems for defensive lines to have to match up.
Marquette hoping to catch Notre Dame napping. Getting the ball in play quickly. Webking. How about the defense? Once again, Molly Campbell and company playing awfully good on that back line. Fourth-ranked Notre Dame and Marquette tied at 1 apiece with 25 minutes and 15 seconds left to go in regulation. The Big East women's soccer title on the line. Sliding tackle. There's Haley Ford. And here comes a couple of fresh Marquette players. Rachel Brown, joined by Brittany Bars.
And this is big for Marquette with Brittany Bars coming in. She's got instant speed. Now, she'll change the pace of the game right here just by the fact that she'll run up and down the left side of this field as a midfielder and support Sloan and Ryan nicely.
Ryan tries to turn the corner. Irish defense wouldn't let her. Marquette, though, able to keep the ball right where they want it. No problem for Weiss.
Sloan was there waiting. It was a good turnaround, a good cross opportunity. I think you've got to create those chances. Anytime you can cross or chip over the top, it's a good opportunity, and Sloan was right there in nice position.
Uh-oh, Ford is down on one knee. Remember, Ford had been limited to some 13, 14 games in and out of the lineup for the last month for Notre Dame, quad and groin issues, and she is limping to the sideline. She had gone down on one knee, and she is in some pain. I'll tell you what, I'm going to give my per diem to the Irish trainers, because they have earned their keep and then some. That is hazard pay for those guys.
Well, this just in, you're not getting per diem, so there's no per diem to be given.
Hey.
But if we had per diem, they would get it. They have been working hard, but I tell you who's working hard right now is Randy Waldrum, who stood up when he looked at Haley Ford across the field, and I watched him come out of the bench and stand there and say, oh my goodness, and put his hands on his hips like, don't tell me another one of my players is down hurt.
So Augustine, the wonderful table setter for Notre Dame, on the bench. It looks like some kind of arm or shoulder injury sustained earlier in this game. She's been with her big thick coat on ever since. And the Irish with the deep ball off the kick. Headers have been awfully good to the Irish over the course of this year, off the set pieces, but Marquette is equal to the task, and here they come on the counter.
What I tell you about speed by Brittany Bars. Bars wanted the cross, but she didn't quite have Ryan there. Sloan was chasing down the middle, and she was out in front of the chase. Becky Ryan was in the back of the chase.
Folks, dangerous. She wants to make a run. Pretty good foot speed. Big fat hop to Kula. Oops. Boy, the pace on that ball, huh?
Well, and think about it. It's been a nice, sunny, warm day. This field gets a little precipitation on it. At night, it was a little soft. Now the field is really, really hard because it's dry. And so a ball like that off of a kick from a very high-octane kicker is going to take a bounce. It's going to skip right off of that hard surface.
Neck slots it for folks.
That field is not going to give that ball any chance, not going to receive it well. It's just going to skip right off of there. So Kula's got to even pay more attention on a shot taken like that, especially with the spin on the ball.
Schuweiler leaves it to Scheidler.
Kula again in the background. You can hear her keeping her team organized, yelling out matchup, calling out numbers for her teammates, pointing. Boy, she is a great leader. There she is right now, really leading her team. Push out, she says.
Marquette pushing forward, trying to get some numbers in the attack. Give Bars and company something to work with. Mack loses it. Looking for some help and finally finding Bars. Sloan. Just not enough numbers there, TV.
Sloan thought Ryan was going to make a run right back to her, and not only did she have a missed kick.
Henderson, clever. Kula commits. Kula, Henderson. How do you do? The two have met many a time with inches to spare between goal and save. And Kula, knock on wood, she's thinking, is able to snuff out another Irish bid.
Henderson is causing a lot of problems for Marquette. She is so close to scoring.
Yes.
She's patient. She has a calming effect. And she's bringing so much speed that she's able to get in behind the back line. And on a bounce, that might bounce over a defender. She's going to go around it. Kula will commit. Here's the last play. A very clever pass to herself up in the air. And as you saw Kula commit, and then she stopped, and then she had to recommit. So it was a fantastic read by Natalie, but an equally fantastic offensive play by Henderson.
Miller had gotten in the way just a second of Henderson on that final push as ball, keeper, striker met in the box. Dangerous if you can turn a corner. Henderson. Shot. Look out! And it's good! Dribbling home a goal is Amanda Clark, the go-ahead scorer for the Irish.
A nice run of the play in a combination where Notre Dame had taken over the offensive zone and had 9 to 10 blue jerseys in the area. The combo play, the pass of stringing together, the Irish back on top. Big East action, the championship is on the line. And
So fourth-ranked Notre Dame grabs the lead, reclaims it, if you will, against Marquette 2-1. TB, walk us through it.
Well, Jasmine Hall right there, number 23, she's going to set up this run of the play here. Now check it out. She's going to get it in to the box where Henderson is going to settle and do a little chase, who recognizes Ian Torno, number 21 on the outside, who crosses it nicely to number 7, Amanda Clark, for the score. Now you talk about offensive calm and setting up the combo play. Notre Dame had a little bit of time, they recognized it, and they just did a nice string of passes together to find the open player where there was a 1v1, and Amanda Clark wins that battle.
Her second goal of the season. She's had a game winner against Providence, has Clark. If this score holds, she'd take this in a heartbeat. Knack.
It's her first career postseason point, Amanda Clark.
Fantastic.
The senior. Way to go, Clark.
Well, and you saw Kula able to get one of her boots on it, but it was able to trickle home. Had enough pace from Clark's foot to get past Kula.
Had enough spin and
Yes.
pace, and that was the key. It just sort of in a quick scramble, Kula was just not quick enough, but you couldn't expect her to be. It was a very tough defensive play to make.
Notre Dame started the scoring on a folks tally in the first half, only to see Marquette score the equalizer. But the Irish grabbed that lead right back. An unlikely scorer, if you will, in Amanda Clark. But boy, everybody involved, it seems, in this Irish offense.
What they're doing is they're having a little bit more confidence and a little bit more success in the half of the field that they like to and often play in, which is the offensive half. It didn't seem like they had to play quickly on that score. Like I said, they had a little bit of time, and I think that was the key, is that Marquette had lost a little bit of their matchup, and as they were trying to settling back and shore things up defensively, Notre Dame was busy working on threading those passes together.
Compte denied. McBride with a rocket, but you know that's high. A couple of more subs ready to check in for Marquette. That would be Lindsay Page, number 12, and Ashley Bars, number 28. Roders, knowing with under 18 minutes to play, when his club fell behind early in the first half, Tammy, he knew he had a lot of time to recollect, if you will, and get some momentum going and get the equalizer. Now there's under 18 minutes.
Yeah, and with Roders saying that, I think the winner in this game has to score at least 2 goals. They realize now that they could be, 2-3 goals away from actually winning this game, and that's a pretty daunting task when you have less than 20 minutes in this tournament championship.
TB Weisenhofer checks back in. So obviously she's good to go.
Notre Dame on their off day yesterday had a run through, if you will.
Marquette pushing. With the lucky ball, they're hoping is Marquette. Boy, really battling in there off the bench. Rachel Brown, kudos to her, but she just wasn't able to get it through. But Marquette keeps it in its offensive third. Folks, we'll have something to say about that. Nope. Dangerous ball. Turn in the corner. Bars wants to. empty. On frame. Just wide, I should say. Off the foot, it looked like it was going to test Weiss, but it was wide right.
A little bit of high and a little bit of width to that shot. Just wide of that far post, but had a little too much height on it, if you will, as well. Nikki did a good job of knowing where the crossbar and the near side posts were, and she was on it.
I like the shot, though, by Compton. Why not?
Weisenhofer's going to chase. And just to finish that thought about Notre Dame's walk and run through yesterday, it was not here at the field. But Weisenhofer, according to Randy Waldrum yesterday, felt very good and said, you know, Coach, if you need to use me tomorrow, you can. And so Randy Waldrum decides that maybe it's best in this situation to get her prepared for the NCAA tournament. Get her in the run of the game and get her timing back. She hasn't played a whole lot of minutes as of late. So I think it's a pretty wise move. We really weren't sure if Weisenhofer was going to see any action today.
Well, I got to be honest with you, I didn't think she'd play in the semis. And she got in so late in that game, regulation-wise, and then overtime. We kind of thought, well, maybe the finals will see her as well. In the box. Little excuse-me shot there by Brown. Wide right, and Weiss was going to be on top of that anyway. With 14:40 left to go in regulation, Notre Dame ranked 4th in the country, leading Marquette 2-1.
And Ann, we are graced with the presence of Jim Sidlisky, the Associate Commissioner of Olympic Sports, representing the Big East on headsets with us today. Jim, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
And another great save by Natalie Kula of Marquette as Melissa Henderson gives chase down the field. Jim, just talk quickly about this tournament championship and what you're seeing here over the semifinals. Two great ones on Friday, and again, just battling it out today with two fantastic teams here on the pitch.
You know, the one thing we were remarking amongst the committee members, we can't recall seeing 5 halves leading into our 6 right now of just consistent quality soccer start to finish. And our teams are peaking at the right time heading into the postseason. We're very excited about how our regular season prepares our teams for postseason opportunity.
Jim, you look at the depth of the Big East Conference, and you've got to have high hopes for at least 6 and maybe a push for 7 and 8 teams making it, reminiscent of 2001 when you had 8 clubs.
Yeah, agreed. You know, it's the best way we can look at it. The teams we feel will be at least on the board consideration-wise, starting from, Georgetown and Nova, going into who we think are quote-unquote locks, the Rutgers, the St. John's, and obviously Marquette, Notre Dame, and then UConn and West Virginia. We think they're going to be very consistent. You know, you try to look at what happened last year where we had X amount of teams in the top 5, and now we've got 7 teams in the top 50 RPI-wise, and that's what we think is going to be really resonating in that committee room.
The healthy RPI, I mean, like you said, those are magic bullet numbers, and what you guys have been able to do by winning some great non-conference games, when you look at the health of your winning percentage, I mean, you look at numbers, and it says, why not 6, 7, 8 clubs?
Agreed. I mean, our non-conference winning percentage is the best it's been in the past 3 years. We prepare ourselves well. We don't shy away from competition, and quite frankly, when you get into our league play, there are no easy games. As a conference, our ADs, we want to win a national championship annually. This is how we set the bar. So what we're seeing on the field these past 2 days is indicative of what we hope to see in the Cup.
You know, Jim, you said something just a minute ago. You said you don't shy away from playing good teams, and that's been one thing that I've had with me this entire tournament. WVU, Penn State, Virginia, BYU on their schedule, St. John, USC, Indiana, Notre Dame played UNC and Stanford. It goes down. UConn actually beats Wake Forest, an ACC team. Is this what we can expect to see from Big East teams in the future?
You know what? Yes. This is something we expect annually. We felt non-conference-wise, we We were a little down the past 2 years, but we think we're back where we need to be. And the game that we think set the tone, St. John's at Southern California, that was just, it turned people's heads, and we said, we're ready to go. Let's make some noise.
And I was out there in Southern California. I had a chance to dine with St. John's in that early season. You see 7 wins in the top 25, Jim. 9 wins against Big Ten, 2 wins against Pac-10, and 2 wins in the ACC. We talked about it. Wake Forest was one of those. Virginia Tech, Villanova over Virginia Tech, the other ACC win. So great things happening from this Big East Conference, and more to come in the near future.
Agreed. We've positioned ourselves, we believe, as a conference to make a lot of noise. We have a great deal of respect for the people in the selection room. We hope they're watching right now. I wouldn't want to be in their shoes, but we really feel we're making a great case for what the Big East can do collectively, not individually. We want to make a lot of noise like we did 2 years ago, and we had 3 teams in the Elite Eight. That's what we hope to deliver on an annual basis.
Well, Jim, we thank you for taking the time to join us. We know that this has been an exciting year from start to finish, and it certainly is going to be an exciting finish here today. I don't know where you'll be tomorrow, but I know Ann and I will be plugged into our TV to see which teams from the Big East are going. Thanks again, Jim.
Thank you for having me.
You bet.
As the clock winds down, yes, indeed, thanks to Jim. And yeah, TB, you're not kidding me. That selection show is going to be really, really interesting. But we've still got 10 minutes plus in this match. A sense of urgency now for Marquette. Amanda Clark's goal gives the Irish the 2-1 lead, and now Marquette forced to play catch-up once again as Victor, Miller, and Sloan all check in for the stretch run for Marquette.
And now the substitutions that I expected to see out of a Marcus Roeder's Marquette team, where 21 players will play an entire match. And I'll tell you, the substitutes are coming in. He realizes what he's facing. I think the operative words here, under 10 minutes.
Flick header, Sloan trying to control. The Irish still trying to clear. Weisenhofer in the mix.
And no doubt a flexible formation for Marquette.
Sloan flicks it.
A traditional 2-forward setup team for Marquette with Sloan and Ryan, and now I'm seeing players, Ashley Bars, Julia Victor is playing well forward, Sloan is pushing up forward.
You're right.
Marquette is getting nice support by their defender, Carrie McBride, who is now about 10 yards away from the box.
And that was Bars trying to find Sloan, my bad, and Bars in the mix. Big target, Sloan the goal scorer.
Reporting into the Notre Dame lineup, number 24.
Ellen Jantz
Replacing number 27,
will find the pitch for the first time this game. Weisenhofer will take this throw in. Under 9 to play now. The Irish looking for their 11th Big East Tournament Championship. They've got 10 titles already in the books. They were prohibitive favorites coming into this match, into this tournament. They know it. Everyone expecting or picking them to win number 11, except if you're wearing Marquette blue. And what a match this has been. The Irish trying to find themselves with the injuries and early losses to North Carolina and Stanford. And since those setbacks, they have been on a tear. 13-0-1, the Irish, getting well in a hurry. Tammy, I think you said it best. I love the coaching job Waldron has done. Last year, he could kind of let all those horses just kind of do their thing all the way to that championship match against North Carolina. This is some serious coaching. With all those injuries.
And I think that he had to do a lot of decision making and tough decisions that he had to make in terms of putting folks, up front, and a player that would normally play in the back. But what happened was, after you move her up front, you realize that for Notre Dame, that allows a little more combination play, where she can hold people offensively, and the wingers, Taylor, Knack, and Henderson, were playing so well off of folks' ability to play center forward and keep those defenders held off. So that combination really worked, and they dialed that in. And when they dialed it in quickly, things started to really blossom. And then what happens is players get confidence from that. Players like Mack and Henderson, and even Augustine realizes, oh, now I've got a third player in Folks to set up with a nice serve. So then Augustine in the mid area will get confidence, and as that confidence grows, then sort of a comfort zone starts to happen. And when you have confidence and comfort, you know, that's a great combination.
You relax, you've got the players. They seem to have settled nicely into the goalkeeper position with Weiss taking over duties for Kelsey Lysander, who gave up what Randy called a couple of soft goals against West Virginia, and they decided to give Weiss a try, and she's been rock solid ever since. No knock, of course, against Kelsey, who's been marvelous in her career with Notre Dame.
And because of Notre Dame's 4-3-3 formation, the three forwards, where you have two wingers that provide width in an attack, wingers always need to generally be very lively and very speedy. Well, you've got two of the speediest in the conference, in Mack and Henderson, and we've seen that today. How much pressure has that put on Marquette's D-backs? Well, they've had to work awfully hard.
Bars coming in, that's Ashley for Marquette. Clark coming back in for Notre Dame, flip throw in. You know Notre Dame understands, everybody does in the house. One more Irish goal and this thing is over. Instead, Marquette on the counter. They think, hey, 5 minutes, anything can happen.
And how good is Randy for going to his bench?
Left foot.
Every time there's a substitution, the clock continues to run. So every minute you look down at the scores table and you see another substitution. And here's one right here. Now watch the clock. Well, they've stopped the clock. All right, under 5 minutes. Darn, I wanted to get that one in.
I had Torno back in.
I wanted you to see at home how the clock keeps running while there's substitutions, but you get my drift.
Yep.
So.
Okay, so Weisenhofer out for the moment anyway. You can sub all you want in the second half. Ian Turno back in for the Irish. And the clock is obviously Notre Dame's friend as they hang on to the 2-1 lead. Look out, Henderson. She's been due. Will try and set something up. Wanted to turn a corner. Nice D by Miller. And now the double team comes. Still holding is Henderson. Under 4. Tammy, when you think about it, this is an amazing stat. If I'm not right, Notre Dame has not lost to a conference foe in some 65 games. That is absolutely unbelievable. There have been a couple of ties in there. There's been a few ties, but they have not lost to a conference foe.
That's what they call a healthy unbeaten streak in soccer. A very healthy unbeaten streak.
And the Irish are 3 minutes and 30 seconds away from Big East Conference Tournament Championship number 11. They won it last year, of course, defeating Connecticut in overtime. And the last thing Waldron wants to see is overtime in this match, with the Irish reclaiming the lead on that Clark tally. And there's Henderson, who has been magnificent today, putting the heat on Natalie Kula and using the speed.
And look at Notre Dame is just, like you said, using the speed, but they're spreading the field, and that just takes away the clock. Forces Marquette to chase, have to cover a lot of green, and the further away they go, the more they have to bring the ball back to get it into their offensive half. Very good, smart clock management by a very wise Notre Dame team.
Banged up Notre Dame club is,
and Notre Dame will take their time here.
Henderson, there's the whistle.
And they might be banged up. but they sure look pretty good.
I agree, and when it's tournament time, whether it's conference tournament or the NCAA get-together, it's Notre Dame time. They understand how to win huge matches. Marquette is learning. They've got I think, an impressive resume and have had a great tournament. They will go to the NCAAs, but Notre Dame still sets the standard in this conference.
Marquette is very close behind. You know, since they expanded and this Marquette team joined this conference, they've been remarkable. And this year really stood out to me. They're not afraid to play the best. They go in and they challenge North Carolina. They only lose by 1. They beat Minnesota, a number 23 ranked team at the time. They have a fantastic conference season where some 6 or 7 teams are ranked in the top 25. In total, 9 Big East teams at one point this year have had a top 25 ranking in either poll.
So with 1 minute to go and Notre Dame looking to ice another title, suffice it to say that the Big East has realistic and very high hopes for great representation in the upcoming NCAA tournament. Keep in mind, in 2001, 8 teams went to the tournament from this great conference. They're hoping for that, and we'll see. And the Irish faithful are up. Players on the bench anticipating with 30 seconds left their 11th overall Big East tournament championship.
And look at Marquette chase the ball as the clock ticks down.
10, 9,
And they'll just send this deep and wide and let it go out of bounds.
5,
Yep, and that will do it. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish win the 2009 Big East Women's Soccer Championship, the 11th title in this storied career. Amanda Clark's game winner. Yep, that's the difference. The Irish 2, Marquette 1. Back in just a second to recap today's match.